Okay, good morning, everybody. Just we'll start the class. Yes, okay. Yesterday we have seen content, what is value education, and then is content, what are the contents involved in unit 1. Then we have studied in detail what is value education and why value education is important to you. Okay, what does it mean, the value education, what means about the value education we have studied, and what is ethics. Okay, it's your judgment. Okay, based on any feeling, you have to judge yourself whether you are going in a right or wrong direction. So ethics we have studied and various types of ethics, then reasons to have the ethics for life. So in the human perspective, in the superhuman, subhuman, inhuman, in every level we have studied what are the ethics meant for them. But we have just verified that only ethics are concerns only for the human beings. Then ethics a way for to happiness. So we are, in order to have a freedom, we need to avoid the conflicts or the friction with other people. So we are living in a harmonious society. So then ethics, that is education for life. Why we have to take ethics as education life? We have just seen its importance. Then ethics, a basic need for man and woman. So we have studied what does it mean for a man and woman. The ethics, how, why they have to go for the ethical reflection. So what is ethical reflection? Today we will see what is ethical reflection. So then ethics, a way to harmonious human society. So we are all the humans are a social being. So we have to socialize, we have to live with others also. So in order to have a ethics in a harmonious human society, we have a two spheres of the life, material and spiritual. So we have just seen this one, what is material and what is spiritual. So modern man will use the spiritual as well as material. uh, Both this they will evaluate. Okay, one material is not only meant for the common man, and the spiritual is not only meant for the sannyasis or the priests. Okay, for in the modern man, in the right now, we are all will apply both spiritual and material things to our happiness. Then the accepted norms and the counter values we have studied. So accepted norms are nothing but which are acceptable. Up to some limit, we can accept certain societal norms. Okay, after that, we will not accept that particular norms. So counter values, that is called a counter values, which we cannot accept. So the negative values these are. So positive values in our society are nothing but accepted norms, and negative values in our society are the counter values. We have seen the examples for this one. So today we will see the ethical reflection. So what is the ethical reflection? So ethical reflection is nothing but your tool. We are saying it's a powerful tool. That doesn't mean some instrument it is. So it is your inner tool, inner feeling that. So reflection to develop a respect for the concerns of others, and has long been recognized as a important goal of character education. So ethical reflection is nothing but your inner feeling to respect others' feelings, and to recognize others' feelings are also there. Everything we have to see that. So accepted norms we have studied and counter values we have studied. Nothing but we can take that accepted norms as a good one, and a bad things in our society we can take as a what we call this counter values. Then if we get this concept fully in our system of thinking and acting, we may acquire the skills or ability to apply the ethical consideration to any event or happiness around us. Whenever we are going through some event, some functions or something, some events which whatever it may be are organizing, then how can we just justify them whether that particular event is going right, or in a right direction or in a wrong direction, that particular event is correct or not? How do we know? So ethical reflection, if we just imbibe all the skills which are required for the ethics into ourselves, that particular system is called a ethical reflection. When you are just observing it at some particular function or a particular event, then whether that particular event is a positively going or a negatively going event. When somebody is quarreling, we can directly say that okay, whatever it may be, the quarreling is not right thing. When somebody is having a marriage related function, so ethical reflection just say us yes, this ceremony is correct, whereas the quarreling event, it is not at all correct. Whatever the event may be, they can resolve themselves amicably, they can resolve among themselves. So we can say that is nothing but the attitude which guides us that yes, this event is a positive event, yes, this event is a negative event. that particular powerful tool which we are having, that is called a ethical reflection. So our character needs to be like that. Our words, we have to watch our words, our actions, habit, character, destiny. Okay, in order to reach a true destiny of us, in order to lead a happy and meaningful life, what we have to do? We have to watch our thoughts first, for they become our words. Whatever we are thinking, only we are about to say that. Okay, until and unless we are just suppressing something, so whatever we are thinking, we are just saying in our own words. So we have to choose our words so that they can become our actions, our own actions. So our own actions will be dependent on whatever words we are uh, just telling to others. Then understand our we should understand our actions, what they becomes our habits. So daily, when you do the same thing daily, what is called, it is a habit. Okay, so we need to have a same action, positive actions in our us, so that it will become our habit. Then these habits will become our character further. So when somebody is classifying that his character is a particular positive or a negative character, you will be asked to do that thing only. So that you will develop a good character into you. Then it will become your destiny. Finally, it will be a destiny. So popular proverb will be there. So watch your thoughts, for they become your words, and then choose your words, for they become your actions. Then understand your actions, for they become habits. Then study your habits, for they become your character. Then develop your character, for it becomes your destiny. So the true character of us needs to be like this only. So the ethical reflection does not mean that to pass on a judgment. So we can also take some of the good from the bad also. So a modern man, he will apply his ethical reflection in such a way that he can also extract some good from the bad situation also. So this ethical reflection is nothing but to enable us to think deeper and analyze the problem. First, if something negative is happening, so we need to analyze that one. Okay, in the negative, what can we find some positive? So ethical reflection is concerned more about that feeling, that particular feeling, that we don't have to judge that one. We can just directly take our concerns regarding that particular situation, whether it's a negative. Okay, we can say that is negative, but out of that negative also we can take the positivity. So that is called a ethical reflection. So it is your inner feeling, not any instrument or nothing. It's a tool which you daily apply. Okay, now uh, you will also apply, every human being will apply this ethical reflection. Okay, inhumans or a non-human, subhumans or a superhumans, they don't have any ethical reflection things. Okay, they will do whatever they want, but the human beings, they are more concerned about ethics. So ethical reflection will be our imbibed characteristics. So that imbibed characteristics we need to enhance daily. We need to study every situation and we need to enhance daily, so that our reflection, the ethical reflection, will be very sharp, and we can directly say that yes, this is a negative, this is a positive situation. Out of this negative, what we can take positivity, everything, our character needs to be like that. Then the next topic is the dimensions of human development. What are the different various dimensions in developing a human being? So the first one among is a physical development. First one among is a physical development. So how do we say that a particular person has been physically developed? So it may be a height, weight, or facial, or a public hair. Anything can be categorized as a physical development. Only he is not at all growing intellectually. Not at all. He is just rising. He is just having a growth in terms of physically. Okay, for the various dimensions will be there in the human development. The first one among those is a physical development, and next one is the intellectual development. Then comes the emotional development, then moral development, then spiritual development, and the last one is the social development. When you see all these dimensions for the human development, so to be a particular, to have a fulfilled and a good life and a wonderful destiny, we need to imbibe all these dimensions. We need to take consideration of all these dimensions when you are growing, when you are at in a growing stage. So from the start of the life to the end of the life, everything is just a learning process. Okay, we need to have a continuous lifelong learning process. So we need to observe ourselves whether we are emotionally correct, whether we are physically correct, whether we are developing intellectually or not, whether we are handling our emotional situations correctly or not, whether we are socially aware of the process or not, and whether we are spiritually enlightened, whether our moral values are correct or not. So everything will be dependent on our ethics, our behavior, our actions, okay, our destiny. Everything will comes under the rule. The first one among is the physical development. If you see the physical development, it is more concerned about the growth of height, your height, weight, facial and public health, public hair, everything. So the period of transition for the boys is especially important between 13 to 18 or 19 age. There is a period of transition, particularly important with respect to girls, is 15 to 20 years, because the very important changes will happen around these teenagers. So why this is very important is this age often called as a come off age. When you attain this age, boys 13 to 19 or 18 age, and the girls for the 15 to 20 years age, you will be called as a come off age. Why we call as a come off age? This is also called as a period of crisis. So every individual has to cross this crisis age. You are just attaining, you're just about to be adolescent stage. So why it is called as a crisis stage? So in this one, you will develop some of the general characteristics. So some of the general characteristics like rapid growth in your height, weight, and facial and public hair, changes in your tonal quality, your voice will change, then the growth of facial and public hair. So you will notice the beard and everything will be changing around us, and change of tonal voice or a vocal cord and everything, and certain awkwardness in social adjustment. So born out of self consciousness, then you will be self conscious and self aware of every fact, that you will develop some awkwardness. Why I am behaving like this? Why suddenly some interest has been increased in the opposite sex, and everything we will be feel somewhat awkward. Some people will feel like a awkward. So you will have to adjust everything. Then you will develop a sense of independence and sense of self assurance, and a heightened interest in the opposite sex and change in sexual organs. So everything you can notice in the physical development stage. So for the boys, especially what we call this testosterone, one of the androgenic hormones. So it will produce some in the testes, begins to develop, and development of sexual characteristics like growth of hair on the, due to this testosterone characteristics only. Some boys will develop the hair on the public faces, like beard on the face and everything. So other parts will can also be developed, and change of the voice will also develop, and increase in the growth of testis is also developed. Then in the girls, like estrogens influence the development of some breast and public appearance of the public hair, and the onset of menstrual cycle. Everything will be developed during the physical development stages. So this is regarding the physical development stage. And next we have to see what is intellectual development. So true intellectual development, what are the true characteristics of a real intellectual development, we have to see. So intellectually, when a person is intellectually enlightened, when a person is intellectually developed, what is this intellectual capacity we referring to? So it is nothing but a power or capacity to understand or to know about the world around us, in particular world around us, in particular to the immediate society of us. So we need to self-aware, we need to have a power to understand, we need to have a capacity to understand what is going on in and around us. So this enables a man or a woman to think rationally and to have a critical consciousness. To in every situation, you have to understand its particular criticality. What is critical in that particular situation? What is positivity? What is its negativity? Everything you have to enable. You have to imbibe in yourself. So, and when a person will grow, when he gets a desire to exercise his intellectuals, so you have to first thing to start intellectual growth is you have to first you need to have a desire. So whatever going on in and around yourself, you have to have a desire to know, yes, what is going on in and around us. First you have to study about that. Okay, this particular situation is going through, we are going through, so what to do about that, how it has been arised, so why it has been arised. So you have to raise a question. Whenever you are raising a question, you will have an intellectual development. So it is like a man who sits in a darkness with everything else around him. So he is personally sitting in darkness when particular events are going around him. So when he is not at all studying, when he is not at all interested in whatever going around him, so he is not intellectually developing. So he need to first observe that one. So we need to ask first why it has been happening. So what is the source of that one? What should it do? And how will it get done? Everything we have to think in such a perspective. So, until unless you are intellectually developed, you cannot know what is going on around you. So intellectual is a light of the day, light for every person. So what is this light? This light helps you to see things around us more clearly and distinctly. So we have to observe it somewhat distinctly. So that is the light. This intellectual development is nothing but a we can say the light which is coming from the God. We can say if we are spiritually enlightened, we can say that this light is coming from the God that will help us to observe what is going on around us, and so that we can gain the clarity about the event which is going around us. So this power of knowing distinguishes man from the other creatures. So intellectual development power, which has the ability of the human being. So it will just differentiate between us and the inhuman. So animals will cannot distinct, cannot have a intellectual development. Okay, they are subhumans, so they can't develop intellectually. Because of that only, we are believing that humans are the superior than other whatever the creatures which are living around us. So this power of knowing distinguishes man, that particular person from the creatures. So intellectual growth will be different for different individuals. So real intellectual growth, which can implies an active mind, always alert. We need to be always alert and trying to ask questions. Okay, trying to ask questions. What type of questions we can ask? So a man's intelligence is seen more in the questions he asks than in the answers he gives. Okay, you are not said to be intellectually developed whenever you are giving a nice answers to the particular question. Only you will be judged by your intellectual capacity, by the questions which you are asking. Okay, if you are asking the irrelevant or according to the context questions, according to the particular context, then you will be characterized as an intellectually developed person. Otherwise, just by observing your question asking skills, everybody can judge you. Yes, you are a layman, or you are a specific domain specific person or not. You will be judged like that. So this is a popular saying by the Neumann. Then the intelligence is nothing but a capacity to reason well, to judge well, and sense critical. It is from the author Bennett. So these are the popular sayings. What is intellectual means for different types of others. So to discern the truth in everything by whomsoever spoken is wisdom. So acquiring a wisdom is nothing but you are completely intellectually grown person. So a truly developed person is one who knows, who keeps his or mind open to the knowledge, criticism. You have to accept the criticism. Criticism is nothing but you can say when the movie critics, particularly for this generation, we can say the movie critics, how they are evaluated, how they are giving a reviews. Okay, they are showing the pros and cons. They are doing the advantages of the particular movie and disadvantages of watching the particular movie. So how they are saying, that is nothing but a critics. Okay, they are imbibed characteristic. They have that critics nature in them. They will observe critically, and they will comment on them, or comment on that particular movie or a particular situation or a particular event. So when they are commenting, we have to accept that criticism. So we have to accept that particular characteristics of that particular person. Then only we can take it a positive criticism. Or when somebody is negatively criticizing you, you have to take that positively. You have to develop what they are negatively saying about you. You have to convert that into a positive attitude. So positive criticism is very much beneficial. Okay, you need not to go for the negative criticism. Whatever the situation, whether you are liking or not, you have to criticize them in a positive way. Yes, some of your friend are not scoring well in the examinations, so you don't have to just insult him in front of others. Okay, he's not at all scoring a good marks in the examination. Okay, in the value education, you can see it's a very easy course. Value education, entirely it's a theory related one compared to your electronics courses, compared to your mathematics or the physics, anything. This is a easy course. Okay, we can say this is a easy course. But somebody is scoring less marks in the value education also. and somebody will feel like we can insult him in front of others. So that is called a negative criticism. When you are saying, yes, see this guy is scoring very less marks in the value education, though it is a very easy subject, you don't have to do those things. So you can say that, okay, why can't you understand the value education? This is really about value education. If you know what you have known, then you can say it positively. You can convey that particular message positively also. So that's the example for the negative and the positive criticism. So intellectually developed person, a true intellectual, will just open to the knowledge. Every time he opens his mind to accept the knowledge, whatever the knowledge it is coming to his way, and he accepts the criticism positively, and he takes the negative criticism as a suggestion for improvement. Okay, always he will try to improve himself or herself. When he or she attains a full development stage in this particular intellectually development domain, he or she will be able to judge everything around him in a proper perspective. So whatever the situation will be there, when you are intellectually grown, when you are intellectually developed, when you are intellectually fully development stage, you will look after the things very positively. You will try to judge it in a proper perspective. So this is clear about this intellectual growth. Then what is the real growth? Real intellectual growth means, so real intellectual growth assures he or she has a growing interest in what he has to be learned. You are learning something today, some lecturer has taken some lessons to you. So what you have to learn, you can grow your interest to a tremendous extent. So you can grow your interest beyond the BSc degree. So you might have studied postgraduate, PhD degrees and everything. You have to what we call, you have to be interested whatever you are learning. So in order to start your intellectual growth, first you need to grow interest in whatever you are learning first. Then he or she should has a careful attention, should pay a careful attention to the small minute details of the particular situation. Then only you will have a habit of critical thinking. So when you are critically enlightened, critical thinking is there in you. In every situation, you just cannot accept as such it is coming your way. So you have to be critically think that that particular situation coming to your way is correct or not, it is going correctly or not, it is going in a wrong direction or it is going in a right direction. So you have to imbibe a habit like critical thinking into it. Then he or she has the habit of picking up important and essential facts. Okay, whatever the events are there, whatever the situation coming towards your way, you have to pick up the important essential facts only. Okay, you can neglect whatever not required from that particular situation. So you need to differentiate them. First you need to critically think about that particular situation, then only you can able to differentiate the important and essentials, whatever not required. So you can just able to differentiate between them, and you have to pick them, pick the important and essentials only, leaving behind all the non-essential things. Then he or she has the good sense to see what is wrong. So before that, you can you have to first, in any situation you have to just separate out what is wrong. Okay, just to take it out what is wrong, automatically good things will be in a place. Then you have a only task to identify good, not only the good, you have to separate the wrong things also from the particular situation. Then he or she has the openness to correct his or her error. First, whenever you do some mistake, just accept it first. So, okay, your attitude should be like that. First you have to accept, yes, I have done a mistake. Okay, I will try to improve in the next session. I will try to improve in the meantime. I will try to improve in a no time. You have to just say it confidently, yes, I accept my mistake. So you know, most probably every person who is committing a mistake, who is committing a crime or anything, he knows according to his judgment whether he has done that thing or not. He knows that one, his inner feeling will guide him. Okay, yes, you have done a mistake, but person will not be in an acceptable position that he could not accept that one. So I don't want to accept. So this type of attitude you need not to be there. Whenever you are committing something mistake, you need to accept first. So yes, I do accept that I have done this thing, but I will correct this. So I will whatever the punishment is there, I will just okay for that. So you have to be in such a type of attitude. Okay, then he or she has to develop a purposefulness. So whatever the purposefulness is there, some persons will also be like this. So they want to live in the present situation. Why should I bother about the past? Why should I bother about the future? We can live in the present. So somebody will argue like this, but we should be aware of that. So everything, past, present, future, everything are interconnected. We can't neglect our past. We can't neglect our future. Okay. So there is a popular saying that whatever actions we are done in the past is nothing but our present life. Whatever actions we are doing in our present life is nothing but our future life. That is, so that is going to be our future. So everything is interconnected. So we have to just evaluate the errors which we have done in the past, then we try not to repeat them in the present. And whenever you are studying about your past, you should note your errors first. Okay, yes, these errors I have committed, I should not tolerate this one. So okay, I should not repeat them once again in the present, so that now my future will be a good one. So my future will be a fulfilled one. So you have to take your present, future, past and everything in your confidence, then only you can study in everything. Okay, whatever you are doing, so everything is a lifelong learning. So you have to learn from your past, and you need not to apply that errors in the present. Then only your future will be a good and fulfilling. So the purpose of the life, you need to clearly define what is your goal, what is your purpose. Okay, everything you need to define beforehand. So he or she acts towards the achievement of a good purpose in life. Whenever you are prepared. What is your purpose? You know clearly. Then you should be a achiever. You should have a. You should act. Your actions should be such that you should be able to achieve that particular purpose in your life. Then he or she has a honestly, unselfishness, humility, impartiality, fellow feeling, a sense of justice. So all this character, when you have a purpose of your life, when you have a critical thinking characteristics, when you have acceptance of error, everything in your hand. So honesty, together with a honesty, unselfishness, humility, impartiality, fellow sense of a judgment, everything is there. Then uh, you are said to be intellectually grown. You are said to be fully developed intellectual person. Then you should avoid the conceit, insolence and arrogance. Every time you have to avoid these negative things inside you. Whenever you achieve this intellectual growth, so every person will respect you, definitely will respect you, and will admire you. So every person in and around you will just respect you, not only respect you, will admire your thoughts, will admire your actions, everything will be admired. So your character will be such a way that you should develop the character of critical thinking, and you should accept your own errors or mistakes, and you should correct it in the present, and you should not repeat it in the future or in the present. And your life should be somewhat purposeful, and you should be honest, unselfishness and humility, impartiality, fellow sense of justice, and many negative thoughts like conceit, insolence, arrogance, this type of negative feelings, this sort of negative behaviors you need to avoid. Whenever you are attaining all these things, you you will be called as an intellectually grown person, fully intellectual person. When you attain this fully intellectual potential of yours, then you will be respected by others, and at the same time your character, your particular behavior will be admired by others. You will inspire them. Okay, you should be an inspiration for somebody else. Whether you can say the kids of your family, or the immediate family, or the extended family, whatever it may be. So for everybody you needs to be a somewhat inspiration. So in order to be an inspiring person or an admired person, so you need to be a really intellectually grown person. So this is about intellectual growth. You need to develop in the such a way your actions, everything will be towards a critical thinking. You should accept your errors. You should not repeat your errors. So you should be focused on your future. You should just learn from your errors in the past, and you are doing the right thing in the present. It can ensure you a good future. Then next growth of a human being is the emotional development. So what are the emotions? Okay, in the day-to-day life, every emotion we have to come across, we have to cross all these emotional stages. What are these emotions? Admiration. So what is admiration? So your friend has passed a critical examination, a good or a difficult examination. So he was just saying Yes, yeah, I have just given a JEE exam or a NEET exam. I have just got a good marks, wonderful score I got. Then what did you do? You will admire that. You will be admired of that achievement. You will just give a round of applause for him. Yes, you have achieved something else. So that feeling is called admiration. Then the anger. What is the anger? For example, your teacher is just scolding you or just shouting at you without your mistake. Then what you will have? You will have a feeling of anger. Okay, why she is or why he or she is just scolding at you? I have not committed any mistake. Why she is scolding? So that behavior is called a anger. That particular gesture is called a anger. Then the friendly gesture. Whenever you're trying to be a friendly with some other friend, some other person, so he is not at all interested in you. Further, what you will do, you will just extend the same gesture in the next time also. So that is called a friendly gesture. So then next is a fear. Okay, you are fearful that I cannot cross a top interview in a top organization. Okay, I cannot obtain a good marks or a good grade in a semester examination. All these are nothing but your fears. You are afraid of that particular situation. So that is called a fear. This is also your emotion. Then next one is love. So love for oneself and love of a parents for the child is a true love. So the feeling which you get when you see your parents are just loving you, just showing some feeling towards you, that is called a true love. So love is also one type of feeling, so one type of emotion that is. Then next one is a jealous. Okay, some scientist is achieving something, a good paper publication, or he's achieving something, award, um, Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award. This is the greatest award of India for any scientist. So Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award. So somebody else, a different scientist who is seeing at this award, he will have one feeling. That person will have one feeling that is called a jealous. So he is feeling jealous of that particular achievement of that particular scientist. Then the concern. Whenever doctor is just seeing some reports of a patient, what he will see, okay, he will be concerned about that patient. Yeah, he had got something serious chronic disease. So what to do? So he will be concerned more about um, his patients. Or for example, you can see some of you has got failed in some examination or some subject or some paper. So what a teacher will do, somewhat he will be concerned. He has to take some extra classes, he has to take some remedial classes, like this thing. He will be more concerned about it. That particular feeling or a particular emotion is called a concern for others. Then the eager. So eager, helpfulness, elated, excited. Eagerness is when some teacher, some lecturer has been asked a question that you know the answer for that question. So you will be eager at answering that one. So whenever some of your classmate is going through the library, walking through the library, he is just carrying a pile of books. So what you will do? You will feel that, yeah, I will take some of his books, so that you will feel somewhat helpful. So that particular emotion is called a helpfulness. Whenever you are achieving something, somebody else is achieving something, you will be elated at that achievement. You will be overexcited. So all these are nothing but the feelings. Okay, whenever somebody is watching a sunshine, everything, it will create a happiness inside you. So that feeling is called happiness. Then the frustrated. Nowadays you are going through a series of online examinations as well as this online classes repeatedly, without any break. Okay, as your seniors, your second years and third year seniors. Okay, during the start of this online classes, they used to go through the 6 hours classes, as we are doing in the physical classes, same as that of online classes. They will freeze, what they will freeze 6 hour classes means they have to immediately for their mobiles or a laptop, whatever they want. They will feel frustrated. So why am I doing this 6 hours classes and everything? So that feeling is called a frustration. You will develop a anger into you. So that particular anger will be developed, elevated. That anger will be elevated towards your frustration. So whenever you are looking at some examination, whether you are going to score in that not, you will be just crossed your fingers. You will put your fingers crossed. That particular feeling is called a anxiety. So anxious you will feel. So that is also one type of emotion. Then irritated. So whenever you don't want to listen any of your friends words or any of your lectures, so what you will do, you will feel irritated. I don't want to listen anything. So that is also an emotion. All these type of emotions are there. So all these are emotions which we have to face every day in our life. So we have to characterize, we have to accept our emotions, so with the ability to keep them under reasonable control. So every emotion of this type, sorry, so we need to keep every emotion under control. Then only we will be called as an emotionally matured person. So you need not to feel overexcited. You need not to feel jealousy. You need not to feel overly frustrated. So every emotion we need to we need to keep them in a control. So emotionally mature person deals with emotional situation positively. In every emotion, when you come across, you need to deal with a positive attitude. So he or she can talk out grievances, does not show anger on his face. Whenever you are showing your anger on your face or in your action, so you're not emotionally developed person. You need not to show on your face, or you need not to show in your actions. You have to know how to control it. So you probably, most of us is probably a job seekers. Whenever you are going to work in some other organization, there will be many frustrated things. There will be many emotions which we have to come across with the anger, or with some jealous concerns, or eagerness, anxiousness, irritated. Many things will be there. So when you learn all these things, how to control these emotions, you will face your job with a true confidence. You will face your job with a positive attitude. So that attitude we need to imbibe in ourselves. So this all these emotions where you are overexcited, over anxious, everything is called a childish behavior. So you need to avoid this childish behavior first. So this is what to gauge your emotions, to gauge your goals, and short term and long term goals, everything I just take in a first class to know about you, more about you. So you need to lower your anger, you need to lower your jealous things or frustrated when somebody is appointed as a CR or ACR in your class. Some other person who is competing for the same post, they feel jealous. Okay, you need not to feel that one. Somebody has achieved something which, yes, they have achieved, you need to show them admiration. So you need to go some round of applause for them. So that's the emotionally mature person will do. Instead of you childishly behave that, yeah, how can he got that one, how can she got that one. So you need not to do that one. So you will be classified as a childish behavior person. So you need to achieve a good emotional development stage. So you need to know how to react with each emotion in each situation, how to react in a positive way. So the task for the next class, in the next class is just you need to evaluate in each, take each of these emotions which I have listed here. So admiration, anger, friendly gesture, fear, concern, jealous, love, eager, and everything. Just put any of one situation, just observe it, what type of feeling you are getting, what type of emotion you are getting. Then you will able to know that you're emotionally developed person or you are just behaving as a childish one. Okay, you can just evaluate on your own. Then so the I just want to say here, our growth is completely dependent on our coordination and whatever the controlling behavior of our emotions. So we should know how to properly control our emotions, how to evaluate a particular situation positively instead of going it to the negative one. We need not to go. We have to go for the positive one. Then controlling does not mean crushing. Okay, we need not to crush this all these emotions. We need not to stop our emotions, but we need to elate our emotions towards a positivity. Instead of going for the negativity, we should elate our emotions towards the positivity. So emotions and whatever the feelings we are getting should be developed and should not be smoothed. So need not be smoothed them one. We should be developed in ourselves. We should know how to properly handle them. So emotions are required with human beings. For every human being, emotions are required. Okay, in every action, based on any of these actions only, every any of these emotions only, every action of us is dependent. So these emotions make us to act and do things. So all these emotions will make us to act and do things. So whenever you are having a positive approach to your emotions, so that uh, so that positive approach will bring some respect, some what we call some admiration,
in the eyes of other people. So in order to get some admirations and some respect in the eyes of other people, you should have a positive emotional behavior. So first you need to accept yourself. You need to accept your feelings. You need to accept your limitations. Limitations are nothing but your weaknesses. Okay, when you study your strength, when you study your weakness, you can accept yourself. Yes, I have this strength. Yes, I have this weakness. So that is also a emotional development. So weaknesses and strength. First, you need to accept yourself, your feelings, your limitations. Then you can accept others' limitations, others' strongness. Um, okay, other strong points. Everything you will accept. So take the responsibility of just accepting yourself, and at the same time accepting the fellow beings, accepting your colleagues, accepting your classmates, accepting your roommates, or accepting your batchmates, and everybody. So you need to accept yourself first. You need to observe your limitations. You need to observe your strongest behavior. What are your strong points? Everything you have to study about that one. So all these emotions are required. We need not to suppress any of our emotions, but we need to control our emotions in such a way that it could lead us to the positive behavior, so that we can be embraced, we can be admired, we can be respected by the fellow beings. So this is about the emotional development in such a way that you need to develop emotionally in a positive way. Then the next one is a moral growth. Okay, there are three levels for the moral growth. So what is a moral growth? So a person's moral growth will be a very crucial for his entire growth, intellectual growth, given an awareness to the moral issues around the person. So whatever the moral issues, okay, you might have studied up to the 10th class some moral studies in the English grammar, English subject in a grammar. So moral studies. What kind of, when you are listening to some story, what kind of morals you are gaining from that one? So that's nothing but a moral development. First, when somebody is crossing across a road accident, what immediately you will pass a judgment. Yes, that person, some auto people or some car, his fault is that one. So you need not immediately judge that one. So first you have to develop a moral attitude in you. So that skill is very much important. Moral skill is very much important. So the skill is to deal the situation very effectively. So once you reach the adolescent stage, nothing but a adulthood, one begins to think seriously and act upon. So you need to think seriously, you need to act seriously. The person's intellectuals gives his or her skills to think analytically, but when you are thinking seriously and actical, what we call act upon it, then you are asked to critically analyze that one, analytically think about that particular situation first. Instead of passing a simple judgment, you should take some morals from that one. Yes, something has happened. So instead of just saying his fault or her fault, just you have to just observe that particular situation critically. You need to analyze that one. Then the controlled and well expressed emotions enables him or us to act properly. Then whenever you are controlling that one, whenever you are expressing properly, so it will leads us to act properly. So every behavior of us will be dependent on our moral characteristics, intellectual development, or any development, not mainly on the physical development only. We are taught to only develop in the physical stages. Okay, we are having this much health, we are having, or we are having the physical growth we are having or not. Everything we are looked after that one. So this moral development, emotional development, spiritual development, everything is also important in controlling our emotions. Largely our behavior in daily actions, whatever we are applying, is entirely dependent on our these dimensions only. Every six of this development, right from the physical to the last from the social development. So human being is basically a good, and he or she is able to know what is good and act accordingly on the strength of the natural potentials and the reasons. So human being, we have an intellectual capacity. We can think, we can judge that whether it is a good or whether it's a bad. We have that strength. We have a natural potential regarding that one. So we need to just act upon with that morals. So there are three levels for this moral development stage. First one is a pre-conventional stage, which follows a rules to avoid punishment. So okay, everybody is fearful of the punishment. So we will just simply follow the rules, whatever it is coming, whether it may be a traffic signal or anything. So we cannot jump the traffic signals and everything. So in this development stage, in this development level 1, so we will blindfoldedly follow the rules, whatever which are laid down, and in order to avoid the punishment. Then acts in own interest, whatever the interest is there. So we will act on upon our own. Then blind obedience to authority for its own sake. So we will just blindly obey. Yes, sir. Yeah, you are just saying this one. We will blindly obey that one instead of just critically analyzing that particular situation. We will just blindly obey that. So this is the level 1 of these model development, and the next one is a conventional, lives up to the expectation of others. So whatever who are saying yes, somebody is saying he's a good person, means you are accepting all their expectations. Okay, you are accepting all their concerns, everything. So you are fulfilling their duties, obligations, everything, social system which are upholding us. So everything you will uphold, the laws, the social system, our societal what we call societal laws of our immediate society, everything you will just obediently obey to everything. So this is called a conventional. So you are at a level 2. Then at level 3, so this is a post conventional, principled. So followed internalized universal principles of justice and law. First, in the person who is morally enlightened in the level 3, he will just internalize, you just apply the universal principles. That particular situation going on is universally acceptable or not. Then balances concerns for self with concerns for others. Okay, he will take in confidence with the concerns which are there personally, as well as concerns of others and the common good. So what is the common in between this particular situation? It is only beneficial to the myself, or that it is also beneficial for the others. He will act upon the by judging in such a way that acts on the independent and ethical manner regardless of expectations of others. So whatever they are thinking, other people are thinking, he will not just bother about lot of that others thinking. He will just act upon his own judgment. He will have some independent thinking. He will have his ethical expression. So he will have his own moral classification, moral clarification, ethical clarification. Everything, every character will be imbibed in this one. So this is called a principled moral development. So you should attain this one, level 3. So this is about the moral development. Then the next one is the spiritual development. Time is there. Time is there. Okay, then next one is the spiritual development. So what is spiritual development? So every one of us wants to be happy. So everything which we are doing is for ourselves or for our immediate society. So the common goal of everybody is to be remain happy. So if you ask a question, are you happy? So are you happy? Just you ask yourself. So you will say yes or no. So when you ask somebody else, are you happy? They will say yes or no. But what is the reason for your happiness? When you ask this question to somebody else, what they will say? Immediately they can't say anything. So they have to think first. What causes them to be happy? So we have to just evaluate. You just personally just ask yourself whether am I happy, whether my colleague is happy, whether my parent is happy. So what causes them to be happy? So in order to develop spiritually, first you have to ask this type of question. So throughout the world, people has accepted a religion, so as a way of life towards a real happiness. So whenever you are practicing some religion, so why do you practice that religion? In order to guide us towards a good and bad, in order to guide us towards the real happy life. So we accept a religion. So all the values which are revealed and lived in the religion, it follow in spirit, lead an individual to the happiness. When we are applying all the rules which are just framed in the particular religion, whether it may be Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, or Hinduism, everything, every religion has its own what we call own advantages, own rules, own laws. It will be there. So every religion is a common. They are saying to remain happy, to lead a good life. Everything, every principle is same. When we attain the spiritual maturity, we will forget ourselves and seek the happiness and fulfillment of those around us, and this in turn will bring the happiness and fulfillment. So when we are just attaining a maturity, spiritual maturity, what we will do? We will just act for others. We will serve others, like our Loyola Academy fathers. Okay, they are just serving others. They are just looking for the students. So this is the organization which supports the students. Loyola Academy, like the various other fathers are, church fathers are there. What they will do, they will do some of the good things for the normal society. But in the academic point of view, in the Loyola Academy, the fathers which are concerned here, they will act for the benefit of a student or benefit of this society. So that's a spiritual enlightenment. That's called a spiritual maturity. This is the basic tenet of all the religions. So to remain happy, to serve other, to act for the others, okay, to remain selfish, selflessness and everything is the thought by every religion. So this is the basic tenet for every religion. So we need to be a spiritually matured person. In order to be a spiritually matured person, you need to accept that there is a God. We need to fear of a God. We need to have a fear of a God in ourselves. We need to accept some religion. We need to practice the rituals of every religion. Some laws which are we need to know the laws which are there in every religion. In such a way, we need to behave like that according to that particular religion, whatever the religion it may be, whether it be Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, Hinduism, or Islam, Christianity, anything it may be. So everybody taught you the same thing. In order to lead a happy life, you should be fear of God. You should live for others. You should be selflessness. Okay, you should not be selfish. So like this, every religion will teach you some things. So you need to learn that. Okay, the last one is the social development. So social development, okay, in the next class I will take this one. Okay, in the next class I will take this one. Time is up. Okay, there are only two books for everybody. There are only two books in this one. Like the others, James Jairaj. Okay, they are the others. Okay, it will be somewhat saffron color and green color mixed color, green, blue, saffron color. Three colors will be there in that one. So you can take from the library these two books. For the first 3 units of value engineering, you can refer to the. Then the next 2 units, which is a the book like Human Values Development Program by the All India Association of Christian Higher Education Society. So this book you can refer for the next 4 and 5 units. For the first 3 units in Harmony book you can refer. So this was about the first unit. So in the next class we'll try to wind up the first unit. So I will just ask somebody of your, some of your seniors in order to get a material. So material is there or not. So you don't worry, I will let you know that one. I hope you understood. Okay, thanks for listening. I will take leave now. Bye.